Success is not created in one moment. It's created in the small decisions people repeat every single day. Most people think successful people are different. They think millionaires are born smarter, more talented, more lucky. But when you study financially successful people closely, you realize something important. Their lives are usually built on habits. Simple habits repeated consistently for years. And the scary part is this. Most people already know what they should do, but they don't do it consistently enough for their life to change. Because success is rarely about information. It's about discipline. The difference between a successful person and an average person is often the things they do when they don't feel like doing them. That's where everything changes. One of the most powerful habits successful people develop is reading every single day. And in today's world, this habit has become even more valuable because most people have completely destroyed their attention span. About it, the average person wakes up and immediately grabs their phone. They scroll for hours, consume random entertainment, watch short videos all day. Their mind becomes filled with noise. But successful people consume information differently. They understand that information controls decisions, and decisions control your future. That's why people like Warren Buffett spend hours reading every day. Bill Gates is known for constantly reading books and learning new ideas. Because reading trains your mind to think differently. Every book gives you access to knowledge that may have taken someone decades to learn. Imagine learning lessons about money, business, psychology, discipline, or investing from people who already achieved extraordinary success. That's powerful. One good idea can completely change the direction of your life. And most people underestimate this because reading doesn't create instant rewards. You don't read one book and suddenly become rich. But that's exactly why most people quit too early. They want immediate results. Successful people understand compounding. Small improvements repeated daily eventually create massive differences. Imagine two people. One spends 2 hours every day consuming random content online. The other spends 2 hours reading about money, learning high-income skills, improving communication, understanding business, and studying successful people. At first, there's almost no difference between them. Both look normal. Both live similar lives, but after 5 years, the difference becomes massive. One person stays stuck in the same mindset. The other develops valuable knowledge most people never learn, and knowledge changes opportunities. Because the way you think affects the way you act. That's why learning is so important. If your mindset stays small, your life usually stays small too. Many people say they want financial freedom, but they never study money. They say they want success, but they never study successful people. That's like wanting to become stronger without ever entering a gym. Growth requires effort, and reading is one of the easiest ways to grow mentally. Even 10 pages a day matters, because consistency matters more than intensity. A person who reads 10 pages daily for years will learn more than someone who reads 3 books in 1 week and then stops completely. The goal is not motivation. The goal is building habits. Because motivation disappears quickly, habits stay. And the truth is your habits eventually become your identity. If you read daily, learning becomes natural. If you exercise daily, discipline becomes natural. If you waste time daily, distraction becomes natural. Every repeated action shapes who you become. That's why successful people protect their routines carefully. They know their future is hidden inside their daily habits. Another habit that separates financially successful people from average people is long-term thinking. This one habit alone changes how people spend money, invest time, build businesses, and make decisions. Most people only think about today. Today's comfort, today's entertainment, today's pleasure. They want fast success and instant rewards. That's why people jump from one opportunity to another constantly. 1 week they're excited about crypto. Next week it's trading. Then dropshipping, then another trend, not because they're building something meaningful, but because they're addicted to quick results, and this destroys patience. The problem is that real success usually takes longer than people expect. Businesses take time, skills take time, investments take time, reputation takes time, wealth takes time. But social media has made people believe success should happen instantly. People see someone rich online and think it happened overnight. What they don't see are the years of failure, stress, discipline, and sacrifice behind the scenes. Most successful people spent years improving quietly before anyone noticed them. That's the part people ignore, because the world only notices success after it becomes visible, not during the difficult years. Long-term thinking means understanding that your current actions are building your future life. Every decision matters. The money you save today, the skills you learn today, or the habits you repeat today. All of it compounds over time, and compounding is one of the most powerful forces in life. Small actions seem meaningless in the beginning, but repeated consistently for years, they become life-changing. Imagine improving yourself just 1% every day. That sounds small, almost invisible. But over years, that small improvement creates a completely different person. That's why disciplined people often look lucky later in life. But it usually wasn't luck. It was consistency nobody noticed. Most people quit because results are slow in the beginning. They go to the gym for 2 weeks and quit. Start a business and quit. Learn a skill and quit. Invest money and panic because they expect fast rewards. But successful people understand something important. The beginning is supposed to feel slow. That's normal. A tree doesn't grow overnight. A strong body doesn't appear in 1 week, and wealth is no different. The people who become successful financially are usually the ones who stay patient longer than everyone else. They continue learning when others stop. They continue building when others quit. They continue improving when nobody is watching. And eventually, those small daily actions create extraordinary results, because success is rarely created by one giant decision. It's usually created by small habits repeated for a very long time. The third habit that changes people financially is investing consistently. And this is where many people completely misunderstand wealth. Most people think becoming rich requires one huge opportunity, one lucky investment, one viral business, one massive moment, but real wealth is usually built slowly, not dramatically. The problem is that people love the idea of getting rich fast. That's why they chase hype constantly. They want instant money, instant success, instant freedom. But financially successful people think differently. They understand that consistency is more powerful than intensity. Because investing is not about timing the perfect moment. It's about staying in the game long enough for compounding to work. And compounding can completely transform a person's financial future. A small amount of money invested consistently for years can eventually become something massive. But most people never experience this because they stop too early, or they never start at all. They keep waiting for the perfect time. The perfect salary, the perfect opportunity, the perfect market, but perfection never arrives. And while they wait, time keeps moving. Successful people understand something important. Time is one of the greatest financial advantages in life. The earlier you start building, the more powerful compounding becomes. Even small investments matter. Because investing consistently is not only building money, it's building discipline. You're training yourself to think about the future instead of only today, and that mindset changes everything. Most people spend money emotionally. If they feel stressed, they buy things. If they feel bored, they buy things. If they want to impress others, they buy things. Their money disappears without creating any future value. But financially smart people make their money work for them. Instead of spending everything they earn, they build assets. Because wealthy people understand a simple truth. Money that sits idle usually loses value. Money that's invested properly has the potential to grow. And growth creates freedom. The goal is not just buying expensive things. The goal is reaching a point where money gives you choices. The choice to control your time, the choice to avoid financial stress, the choice to help your family, the choice to live life on your own terms. That's real financial power. And consistency matters more than starting big. Many people think investing only matters if you have huge amounts of money. That's false. Small, consistent actions create big outcomes over time. Think about fitness again. A person who exercises moderately for 10 years will usually achieve more than someone who trains extremely hard for 1 month and then quits. Money works similarly. Consistency beats temporary motivation. That's why financially successful people keep investing during good times and bad times. Even when markets fall, even when fear spreads, even when people around them panic, because they understand that emotional decisions destroy long-term wealth. Fear makes people sell too early, greed makes people take unnecessary risks, and impatience makes people quit before results appear. But disciplined investors stay focused on the bigger picture. They know wealth is usually built quietly, slowly, patiently. Most people will never become financially free because they spend everything trying to look rich. That's one of the biggest traps in modern society. People buy expensive things to impress people who usually don't even care. They sacrifice long-term freedom for short-term appearance. Successful people often do the opposite. They focus on building first, because real wealth is not about looking rich. It's about having control over your future. And the fourth habit that changes successful people is improving yourself daily. This habit is powerful because your income usually follows your value. The more valuable you become, the more opportunities you create. That's why self-improvement matters so much. Most people want better results while remaining the same person. But life usually doesn't work that way. If you want a different future, you often need a different mindset, different habits, and different skills. Successful people are obsessed with growth, not because improvement feels easy, but because they understand staying stagnant is dangerous. The world keeps changing, technology changes, markets change, skills change, and people who stop improving eventually fall behind. That's why successful people constantly work on themselves. They improve communication skills, learn business, study psychology, build discipline, control emotions, develop confidence, because every skill increases value and value creates opportunity. Most people wait until life forces them to change. But successful people change before they are forced to. That's a huge advantage. Self-improvement also changes how people see themselves. When you keep promises to yourself, confidence grows. When you become disciplined, self-respect grows. When you learn difficult things, belief grows, and belief matters more than many people realize. Because people who believe in themselves take more action. And action creates results. Many people stay trapped because they underestimate their own potential. They think successful people are special. But often, successful people simply stayed consistent longer than everyone else. They kept learning, kept improving, kept showing up, even on difficult days, especially on difficult days, because success is not built when you feel motivated. It's built when you continue despite not feeling motivated. That's what discipline really is, doing what needs to be done regardless of emotions. And over time, disciplined people create lives that emotional people only talk about. The truth is, your future is being shaped right now by the habits you repeat daily. Every day you are either building yourself or slowly weakening yourself. Every choice matters: what you watch, what you read, how you spend money, how you use time, who you listen to. All of it shapes your future identity. Most people underestimate how powerful small daily actions become over years, but life is usually the result of repeated patterns, not single moments. That's why these 4 habits matter so much. Read every day, think long-term, invest consistently, improve yourself daily. Simple habits, but when repeated for years, they can completely transform a person's financial future.